Welcome back to News Talk and our conversation this Wednesday with Shirrea Thompson and Madeline Long-Gill. They're both with Susan G. Komen. Shirrea is Senior Advisor to the CEO. Madeline is a survivor and an advocate in science. To the extent that we have this confusion right now among women and families and the medical community too, perhaps, about how often to get what type of breast cancer screening, what do you see coming down the road about a possible consensus around some of this stuff so people can sort it all out?
Well, I think there's two things that I was really excited to see. Last week, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, really as a leader and a breast cancer survivor who is a young survivor, has introduced the PALS Act to actually extend time to make sure that the guidelines can really be examined so that we can get better numbers, more recent research, and really identify what's actually taking place in women. And I think as well as an advocate in science, I love that we are able to have women that have been through this process really shape what the guidelines are. And one of the exciting things is we really know that we need more research into blood and tissue so that we know what's happening with women.
Meaning resources.
Meaning resources. And having, and the woman knowing, the doctors and the woman knowing, have a better idea of what's going on and not just a general. But the tissue and the blood testing will give them a better idea of what's actually going on.
How important is it for testing opportunities and information generally to be in the community? Of course, we always want doctors to bring these things up, but these days with the how busy their schedules are and the insurance limitations on how long visits can be and the rest of it, not everything comes up every visit. How important is it to be in the community?
It's vital, and it's not just, as you know, if you have breast cancer, that's not happening at your primary care doctor. Sometimes it might be an exam, you know, you're getting a clinical breast exam and your doctor is telling you to go for that next step, but we need primary care physicians that understand what's happening. We also need to empower patients, but we also need to have better screening technology and facilities. And so one of the things that Komen is really invested in is making sure that we can improve high quality care so that women have access to the best screening and mammography, and also make sure that they can get to those screenings in their community.
We don't have a ton of time left, but Madeline, I'm curious to ask you about how you pivot from the emotions that you feel when you get the diagnosis into getting with family and friends and loved ones and your doctor and creating an action plan.
You know, because my mother did not handle her diagnosis very well, I really didn't get a chance to have my own emotions. It was very important to me to help my mother stay connected to the continuum care. So I took what my mother was going through in terms of not being able to handle her diagnosis and redirect that to help the larger community. So to me, it was about taking what was bad and making it something that was good to help the greater good. Is
that when you said, you know, I'm going to be upfront about all this stuff and speak out?
Exactly. I wanted to share my story. I wanted to also share the story of my mother because I knew she wasn't the only survivor that was suffering in silence. And so for me, I think it's awesome that I get to take a message of hope back into the community. My mother is now, she went from someone that did not want to do anything to now a part of an organization and redirecting those energies. So it's turned out really well.
A perfect note for us to end on. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. Thank you both for coming in and sharing this really important information. This is the best possible use of our time. So thank you both for being here today.
You're more than welcome.
Thanks very much for your time. We'll step aside. We're back though with a News Talk program note. So keep it here.